Okay, so good morning, everybody. This morning's daily devotional is another meme that I found because I really thought it would be cool to talk about it. One of the greatest things that you have to deal with when you awaken is being misunderstood by others. You suddenly understand everyone's reason for doing everything and no longer project hate on anyone. And acceptance blooms from within you, but others don't understand that. Don't focus too much on trying to make everyone understand you. Just shift your energy towards connecting with yourself and focus on understanding yourself. Live free. And there's a take on that. And the take on that I wanted to go back to was working on the self, working on your energy. It's happened to me a couple times in my life, and I really struggled with it for a while. The feeling of isolation and aloneness, and feeling like I would meet people, I would have friends, and then I would discover something new about myself, or I would grow, or I would, whatever it was, a perspective would shift, and I could feel it. I could feel that shift of perspective. But the people around me couldn't keep up, is what it felt like. It felt like I was moving at a certain speed, and there were people around me who would see that shift, but they couldn't keep up, and they would get mad. And oh my God, they would get mad. I have had people in my life be furious at me. Now, I can look back at some of those things with the awareness that I have autism and ADHD. And I do believe that some of those shifts had to do with being autistic, and because I fixate, and also because of the ADHD that I have. And that ADHD can be kind of hard to keep up with sometimes. And when I shift, when I come to a realization about something, I dive to the bottom of it. I really do. I accept that wholeness of myself all the way to the core. Now, the flip can happen when I feel trapped, or I feel like something's missing, or I'm situationally, if I have situational anxiety or situational depression, or there's a lot of variables in that on the negative side. So I look at life very much like we are light beings, right? And we're stuck in this physical manifestation, this flesh sack, and it's not comfortable. At least it isn't for me. Maybe other people are comfortable in their bodies. I am not comfortable in my body, and I know that. And so when you're a light being in an uncomfortable place, you have the wholeness of you doesn't fit in that body, right? So we only have access to parts of ourselves at a time. We aren't whole ever, really, but we strive for that wholeness because that's what we're constantly striving for. It's like trying to find equilibrium, right? But it's almost impossible to get to that equilibrium in this physical body because we are spiritual beings that don't fit in our flesh sack, okay? So we have points where we are, the best way to describe it is if you were going to look at it as good and bad, or light and dark, or yin and yang, right? But those are far ends of a variable in the middle, okay? So when I am personally, when I'm working on doing good, right? We'll say it's over here. Say I'm doing really good, right? And I'm finding balance, and I'm doing the things that I need to, and other side of it is when I fall down, I miss something, or I have a meltdown, or I isolate, or I say things that seem kind of mean. And sometimes they are mean, right? Or I do something that appears to be really selfish and self-centered. Now, there's all this variance in between, right? Right? So, and we all have done things that are not kind and not nice, and we've all done things that are very generous and very giving. We've all done that. I've done that, you've done that, everybody's done that. So, yes, Astra, I'm over here, girl. So, when you're creating boundaries and you're working on you, that doesn't mean you're over here, right? It means that you're trying to find a balance in the middle, that you can give and you can be selfish and it all be okay in this equilibrium of place, in this manifestation, in this balance of self. And I am notorious for giving too much of myself. And there was another meme that kind of came across this morning that I went, oh, well, there's the universe telling me exactly what I need to hear again, which has been pretty much the message for the last like month, which is your body will tell you when it's had enough. And my body told me, you've had enough. Stop giving. Stop it. Stop, stop, stop. Work on you. Because I know that I do. I know that I do. I am a person who will think of someone else before I think of myself. And I've always been that way, which is why when I do have to think of myself and when I'm forced to self-preserve, or I am forced to do for myself, it's a very uncomfortable place. It's also a place that that I don't always do it properly, right? I don't ask for myself well. I ask for others much better. And I'm gonna tear up again. Sorry, I've been in and out of tears for days. Sorry about that. When I do for myself, I know that I don't do it well. And I think some of that may come from when I was a young person, a child. I was never taught that doing for myself was, Astra, what are you doing? She's like over there howling. What? Girl, what is it? I was never taught how to take care of myself in a way that was healthy. Taking care of the self was always treated as me being selfish and mean and you know, I remember a time I was a teenager, and teenagers do not, I worked with teenagers for years, and I remember being a teenager, and I would never wish my teenagers on anyone, but we had this pool party at my house, and a friend of mine didn't have a bathing suit. And so I lent her one of my bathing suits, and she looked amazing. And I remember her just looking like a beautiful light. She's just gorgeous. She's just a beautiful human being. If I if I could ever reconnect with her, I would. She's just a beautiful human being. Anyway, and I don't remember exactly what I said. I meant it as a compliment, but my dad really like lit into me about how it sounded very selfish and demeaning. And it was one of those palpable moments. I mean, I still remember the shame of, I thought I was saying how beautiful she was, and instead I had insulted her. And I will forever remember that shame. And I'm very, very careful now. Oh God, am I careful? Because of that one memory. I try to be so careful when I compliment someone. I really think it over in my head a couple times before I blurt it out, because I do want so much to help other people. But on the flip side of that, if someone compliments me, my self-image is very off, I think, because I see and know from the inside out all of the things I know I need to work on. And working on yourself will make other people uncomfortable. And so when people have complimented me, part of that in me is the other side of, how long are you going to be my friend? Because I'm going to grow and discover and learn other things, and you're going to go away. Friendship has very little permanence in my life, not because I don't want it to be, but because I have traditionally made people very uncomfortable. I draw my boundaries, I hold to them most of the time, and people get uncomfortable and they run away, or I disappoint them, or I don't know what it is. So today's daily devotional, what I was writing in my journal about was the grief that comes with growth too. The grief that as you manifest and as you work in your life and you do the things that you're meant to do, as you have activated your blueprint, as you have become an active participant in your life, sometimes people run away. And it doesn't mean they don't like you necessarily. It doesn't mean that you can't be friends. It just means that sometimes they move on to other things, you move on to other things, and it's okay. And I've had to come to terms with that. Ironically, I find that social media is kind of a friend to me, because I can be friends with people and they create their own boundaries with what they choose to look at and what they choose not to look at. And I do the same thing. And they're all people that we have similarities and commonalities enough to be friends in social media. And I've, in some ways, feel like I have gained some really good friends in social media because of those boundaries. I don't know how we would be in person. I don't know if we would all stand around in our own little corners going doop de doop de doop de doop, or if we would have lively, involved conversations about all of our special interests. I feel like inadvertently I've collected some autistic ADHD special brain people in my social media circle that I would never have had the opportunity to connect with in any other media or platform. So I think it's pretty cool. I'm actually looking forward to Great Western War this year because I'm hoping that some of the people that I know that live far away will come, and I will have the opportunity to have conversations in person. Anyway, well, I hope you all have a blessed day. I hope that today's daily devotional gives you some pondering thoughts. I send blessings to the universe. I send my heart and my love into Mother Earth, and I know that she gives back to me. I thank and bless the elements that today is not going to be too hot because I'm going to go to Yellowstone today, and it'll be my first trip ever. So have a blessed day, and I will see you tomorrow in prayer. Blessed be.